Hello and good morning again to the next episode of Digital Twin Podcast. And today we will talk about how to prepare a manufacturing company for implementing new technologies. We'll tell you exactly 10 things which you have to do before. Stay tuned. Digital Twin Podcast is a place where technology and business is going hand in hand.
If you are thinking about digitalizing your company, you found the right place.
Podcast is hosted by Adrian Stelmach, consultant who implements IT solutions for manufacturing companies.
And Paul Pachowicz, industrial digitalization expert, who helps global companies to optimize production processes.
Okay.
Okay, no further ado. Let's start with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting ready for the digitalization of our company. First thing that we should do is
Analyzing the current state.
okay.
Of course.
So as is a situation in our company, right?
Yes. If you want to implement anything regarding to new technologies, you have to see it as a bigger picture, right? So it's not only solving a specific one problem, which is on production line or in the office, but it's because those things are connected to each other. You have to see that it's not necessarily related, for example, with Internet of Things or with network at itself, but doing one thing in one department can make changes in the entire surrounding. So making as-is situation is the first and necessary step to plan whatever is supposed to go after that.
Sure. The way I look at it is, before beginning any major changes, regarding any project, it's super important to, evaluate the current state, the as-is process, as you mentioned, just because then you can identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of this particular process. Number two would be also my number one, but let's call it a number two. It's defining clear goals and objectives of what we are trying to implement.
Yeah, all of the goals have to be smart. So it have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bounded, right? And you need to have those because after you will actually purchasing a specific puzzles in this, I would say, digitalized factor or digitalized business, you need to know which gear you have to switch in which moment, right? So also there's a big process of learning because if you're doing a bigger project which have years ahead, you have to learn from each step because it's impossible to plan everything from the start till the end. But making it in an agile way, when you are taking each step, you're making conclusions and you have actually specific goals which you can actually take. You can check if you meet them on numbers. You know how to plan the next steps and plan forward.
Sure. What I would add to this is whenever you define a clear goal, it also determines, who should be involved, how much time they need to deliver those, certain activities. And also you are able to divide that bigger goal into smaller objectives that you have to kind of check before you move to the next one. So this clear goal helps with deciding who should be involved, how much time they should have, but also it can help with deciding on the steps that has to happen in order for you to achieve your goal.
Okay, so the next one will be building a cross-functional team. And
what do you understand by that? Cross-functional, if I may, just one sentence. Cross-functional could be, in-house and external consultants working together, plus just aligning the internal people so they are aiming for one goal.
Hmm. Yeah. So if you define your goals and you know exactly what will be this end of the road, after that you will think about what kind of tools, so what kind of technology you have to use to meet it. And establishing a team is a next step, because there's a lot of different knowledge which you have to meet these goals, right? Because it's impossible to have all of the knowledge regarding to, for example, Industry 4.0 in a technical way, in an implementation way, in one person. So you need to know what kind of people do you have in your organization, how you can use those people, how you can use some of the time from other people, for example, quality departments and so on, and what is missing. And this missing puzzle will be for example, the consultants, external consultants. It could be programmers, or it could be just like a manager who will just he will make it work.
Yeah, building cross-functional teams, that means to me that they are getting aligned at some point. So for me, that team, whenever we're putting the team together, they have to understand the threats and also opportunities on their way. So putting them together kind of forces them, to predict whatever can go wrong and get ready for that. I think we mentioned that before, that whenever you're dealing with digitalization of a corporation or a big company, there's always like an in-house IT department that if they are not aligned with the digitalization process, it may happen that they will be a blocker of that process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after you have this team, the next will be you have to prepare this team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to invest in proper trainings, for example, or maybe hiring new people if it's necessary. Also, it's a good time to check what kind of people you have in your organization. For example, if you're implementing a new ERP, maybe it will be necessary to, for example, connect and create some internal network. Do you have capability and time from people you already have, or you need to find a company who will help you with that? So this is a good time to think what kind of people also will be needed after the implementation, because maybe some of them you can just train them and try to change their actual workflow to a new positions, for example.
Sure. Yeah. So I will look at it as I will look at the people that we have, and then tasks and responsibilities that we need to deliver this project. And it's great if we have it in house. If not, we can either educate the in-house people, or we can use external consultants to help us deliver this project.
Mm-hmm.
This is a super fast pace for this episode. What's a number 5?
It will be establishing a change management strategy, right? We often talk about it in our episodes because I think we both experience and see that this is, most of the time, this is a missing puzzle, right? Mm-hmm. So company is buying robots, software, or whatever, and doesn't think that much about what people will think about it. There's no training after, like, why company decided to buy this or this technology or another one, right? Also, there's no adoption, no way to help people to adopt the new environment. So making a strategy, if we know our goals, we know what kind of people will help us to meet those goals. We exactly know what, for example, who should join us. After that, we have to prepare a strategy who will prepare the entire staff to work with this new plan, not only for the first steps, but show them the entire plan and the finish line.
Sure. Change management to me is minimizing resistance, and increasing adoption. Those two things. If we can address both of them before the start of the process and then during the process, then we should be good to go. Number 6.
Yeah.
Or you wanted to add something to number 5?
No,
No.
I'm good.
Number 6, choosing the right technology.
Yeah. So the problem is that usually we think about technology in the first step, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think, okay, this is the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the technology which can solve this problem, and we skip the 5 steps before. As you see, the technology is number 6 because now, first of all, we need to know what is the problem, what people we have to solve this problem, and somehow we need to try to find space between people, between the problem, and the technology just should fits this area, right?
Right.
And
That's why I love to work with business analyst people, because they have the understanding of business, and very often, especially in the IT industry, they are well aware of what technologies are available, but also what technology would be good to solve that certain business problem. So I would define the needs and start addressing the needs before choosing the technology, and then choose the technology that would be the best option to solve that particular business problem.
okay, so now we are on number 7. It will be planning, and because we know most of the puzzles right now, and now it's good place to start planning. But I'm not saying about a specific plan, what day each of person from the team will be doing. I'm talking about you can say digital transformation roadmap, when we see our biggest milestones, and we know about the hierarchy, so we know which steps goes to after another one, and we can adjust while we are implementing this plan in real life, right? So agile approach is of course what we want to have. We need to have also managers who will check the KPIs on the road. They will check how people actually fit this new situation after the further steps are ongoing, and we need to have a clear line which says when the specific step is done, and we need to have some space to make a lesson learn, and to plan in a specific way the next step.
Sure. Developing this implementation plan, I would take a step further. I would focus on detailed implementation plan. That would be a combination of this agile approach to utilizing your roadmap, the digitalization roadmap. But I think it's super important to have those small steps defined. They don't have to be defined, for the next 3 months or something, but they should be defined for the next week or 2 weeks, because if we know all that information, then we can control if we are on the right track, not the car, but on the right track, in terms of we know how much time have we predicted to deliver certain part of the project, how much time it actually took, and we just know that we are going the right direction. We can iterate. We can use the smallest possible tasks to actually move forward, but also minimize the risk of going of using the waterfall approach and verifying the fact that we made a mistake. 3 weeks after we made a mistake, it's not good for the project.
Yep. So the next one will be like thinking about cybersecurity, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to connect anything to the internet um, to think about cybersecurity after that, because nowadays it doesn't matter if we have a tablet or HMI, or it could be computer. Everything is able to be connected with the surroundings, and it makes because of that it makes it fragile. So you need to have a strategy for cybersecurity, no matter what you're trying to purchase right now, and no matter how your digital transformation roadmap looks like, because every of those steps I can make you sure that there will be a cybersecurity issues going on. So you need to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I think you summarized it pretty well. I'm not a big expert on cybersecurity. I know it's important, but I guess what you said, makes a lot of sense. So I would jump into the number 9. This episode is super fast. So I think we kind of addressed it whenever we talked about the agile approach to delivering projects, but monitoring and measuring the current state of implementation, super important, because if you do it regularly, then you can avoid those, big periods of time that you just act and you don't measure anything.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do, if you specific a goal in a smart way, as I said before, you need to have a place to check actually in numbers if you're going in the right direction or not. And specifying those measurements regarding to the project, regarding to the team, regarding to people, regarding to change management is crucial, because one thing is our emotions and what you are actually feeling during, for example, managing this process, but the other things are numbers, which doesn't have emotions, which you defined before you even started. So it's crucial to adjust your strategy ongoing.
Sure. So it's on one hand, it's good, to use that approach to be able to tell if we are going in the right direction at the right speed. But on the other hand, we can use this iterative approach to find out if there are issues, roadblocks, but also it gives us the time to adjust to the proper approach. So if we do it frequent enough, let's say twice a week or even every day, then we have time to actually adjust, to make the appropriate adjustment to still be able to deliver this project on time, within the budget, and what's the third one? On time, within the budget, and according to specification. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You ready for number 10?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go for it. So the encouraging the culture of innovation, I think, is important, because if change is not a part of the way you think, if you're only thinking about digital transformation once in 5 years because you found out there is an opportunity, then this implementation will not be successful, most likely, because you have no experience. And then the people that you work with, that work for you, the people that will be affected by this change, they will be completely lost in this because they never experienced that. So if you don't have this culture of constant innovation, it will be super, super difficult for you to implement any kind of change because it's new. People will resist the change. What's your take?
Yeah, I think it's like a cherry on the top. So if you see that, because you have a goals on the beginning for each of the employee which you have, right? So you said, okay, this is things after we implement this project, you will have those specific things will be good for you, right? And if people will see that you actually are telling the truth, so they see that okay, so company is going further, it's implementing something because they want to cut costs, for example, but also my work is easier because of that. It will encourage that technology is and changes which are made with technology is actually making something good for everyone, and it makes from the downside of the company, it makes a hunger for innovation, because we saw that in every step before, we've seen that actually in every step our work was easier, maybe it was better, maybe we had less heavy lifting, for example, and so on. So it makes a culture of innovation, and I think in the long term, it always what is pay you the bill is not only what you are doing, but it's also what you're representing. And like a culture of innovation is something which everyone, I think, wants to be. We want to work in companies which have implemented culture of innovation.
Yeah, the culture of I will share my takeaway.
Okay.
Now, and then you can think of yours.
Yeah, sure.
So the culture of innovation has a tremendous benefit for the organization, because if you support that, if you encourage people to think, to be open for the innovation, you're doing two things. You're attracting and retaining top talent, and the people that will impact your company the most are the people that are really good at kind of thinking outside of the box and helping your company to adjust to the current circumstances. Simply speaking, to keep up with developing technology. So if you have this kind of culture implemented within your company, that helps a lot with the progress of the company itself, as you are attracting and retaining the best talent possible on the market.
Okay, so my takeaway from this episode will be that you should always remember that before choosing a technology is like a tool, right? And before you use a tool, you need to take some steps before. You need to think, what actually people do I have to use this tool, right? So what is the culture of my organization? Are we innovative or are we not innovated yet, right? And those steps, I think those 10 steps which we showed today are showing that if you think it from this side, each of step is not like you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But if you think about it, and if you just spend a while and put it outside of your head, you make sure that your digitalization process, whatever it be, it have more chance to be successful in the end.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was the fastest episode we ever did. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Thank you. And please leave a comment and share this episode if you like.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Share with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you and bye.